Cool.
Everyone, hope everything is going well. Today we have a returning guest. We have Michael. And what's your Instagram again? The Card Dreamer, is that what it is?
Or Dreamer 2345.
Dreamer3245. Yep, that's right. Yeah, we message each other here and there, and that's Derek Jeter.
Tops now on card auto. Got it from the card capital a little over a year ago. I just so as is tradition for some of your episodes, you show something in the beginning, and I think I'm showing that one.
Yeah, your boy Santiago. You messaged me saying that, hey, look, let's talk about that Santiago versus Sports Card Radio. Your jersey.
Real King of New Jersey.
There you go. And you told me you wanted to talk about it. I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? Let's have a talk regarding this. I have some counterpoints, but tell me, what were your initial thoughts about Santiago and the sports card radio situation, and a little bit beforehand on what went on with
Yeah,
regarding the stolen property?
yeah. Let's just dive right into it, right? Like,
Yeah.
so Sports Card Radio, they reposted my IG post because I made a funny IG post about the quotes that Santiago had on the internet. I don't know what platform, but like one was in regards to Mojo, the ones that basically everyone saw, the 100% not stolen, 100% real auto. And then, Sports Card Radio restoried it Sunday. That was exciting. Got a ton of traction. And then like a day or two later, they posted that Santiago was coming on the show. First initial reaction, somewhat respect, the guy's coming on the show. So I was actually kind of surprised, right? Like, surprised. Oh, he's facing the music. I was surprised, but then when I watched the show, I was unsurprised. Any credibility that I was giving him for going on the show totally went out the window during the show, and happy to talk about that. But that was like the reaction to him going on the show and the whole incident. And I thought, who better to talk with you about this situation than someone who's really, had covered a few Santiago topics in the past. So, yeah, I'm happy to tell you, my breakdown of the video. Do you have anything like at the moment?
Yeah. Tell me what you think about it. I mean, I have respect for him going on sports card radio. Like, sports card radio drills a lot of people, and a lot of people don't want to face the music. So the fact is that, hey, he has some reels with Michael Rubin, or pictures with Michael Rubin, and the fact he came on sports card radio, I have to say, hey, that's pretty not impressive, but I give him respect for that. So what was your own thought process when watching the
Oh
video?
yeah, it might have been slightly, but I said, look, let me watch the video first. And then again, when I saw the video, it all went out the window, and I'll tell you why. Well, one, I was hoping both brothers would be there because I felt like the second sports card radio brother would have, chewed him out a little more. But I
Yeah.
also don't mind the format of the one guy interviewing him. I should remember
Right.
their names. I know one of his name's Colin. Like, they're my favorite show
Colin,
along with you
Colin
guys.
and Ryan. Colin and
Okay,
Ryan.
yeah, that's it. That's it. So I almost don't mind that it was one because it allowed Santiago to like tell his side of the story without him feeling like, hey, maybe someone's coming at him. So we really got like a lot of words out of him, essentially, um, that we're able to like, hear his side of the story and then make judgments after. So here's my thing. He comes on the show and he doesn't take accountability for anything. You know, not apologetic in one way for any part of the situation or any one of the comments. And then he just basically sits back and goes, hey, sports card radio fans, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, I don't think anything was my fault. What was my fault here? Like, that's why I'm kind of happy you went on the show because it gave people a look at who this guy really is. This guy's never going to own up to anything. He's not accountable for anything. He doesn't even, understand why people are mad. I don't think he wants to understand why people are mad. So that's why I want to come on the show to kind of recap it because that's what I saw, right? And we could break down the situation. I think, when this Ryan or Colin, was it Ryan?
Yes,
Who's the one
Ryan.
actually interviewed? Ryan
Ryan
interviewed
interviewed
him.
him. Yeah.
Yeah. So he kind of, breezed through I think, most important part of the story, which was actually, the beginning, how he got the cards. The Kuzma, he basically said, like, look, like, it was Kuzma's rep, which I'm sure Kuzma has so many reps. Like, let's be honest. He breezed by that. He's like, so it was from him, and then I took in the cards, and then he just talked in circles about a bunch of other stuff. When really I thought the juice was there. It's like, okay, let's rewind a little, right? Because Sonia, you know a little bit about cards. You should. There's two boxes, signed, like black box, white box, for players to sign. Um, these boxes were in Kuzma's camp. They never made it back to you clearly never made it back to Panini. I mean, what does Santiago think? They went to Panini, then somehow made it back to this guy's hands. So basically, to me, how I look at it, Raul, is look, these cards never made it back to Panini. They should have. They never really probably belonged in that guy's hands to begin with, but it was just leftover stuff. So the guy was like, here, like, I don't know what to do with this. Like, if I don't do anything with it, it goes in the garbage, right? Probably. So he just, I guess Santiago said he knows the guy from like a local business. So he gave it to Santiago. So Santiago sees the cards, he's trying to act like he knew something was up with it. When he went on IG, apparently he used the verbiage. It wasn't exact quote. This is someone telling me because he blocked me on IG like months back. We have this great back and forth that, I could share another time before he blocked me, but it was real funny. But he said they fell off the truck. It wasn't those exact words, but he said, they fell off the truck. I can't release, the name of or like the whereabouts of where this came from. So what does that tell you, Raul? I mean, it tells you like, hey, he kind of has this idea like these are in hands, like they should have been back to Panini, but they're in hands or not, but now they're in mine. So that's and then what irritates me is he knows all this, and then he makes an IG post or saying, I'm gonna, piece him out. What do I do with them? Do I piece him out? Do I do this? Do I do that? And then he has the audacity to tell people they're 100% not stolen. If you were suspect about it, then how can you tell people they're
Wait,
$100%
did he
not
use that?
stolen?
Did he use that wordage or verbiage or whatever you want to say that it's 100% not stolen at that
Yeah, you
time?
saw the Raul. You saw the message. You saw my Instagram post. You
Yeah.
saw
Oh
Sports
yeah,
Card
yeah, yeah.
Radio covered in the story. I mean, it was written literally online. So if you're gonna come out and say, "Oh, I didn't know it was stolen," like then everyone who questioned him was like, he was like, "Why would I put up an Instagram post if I thought it was stolen?" Okay, then why would you tell people it's 100% not stolen if you didn't know it was stolen? Like this guy is a total fraud. He won't own up to it. He won't own any part of the story, from the statements to being, probably suspect of the cards when they came in there. Um, Obviously that was the part of the story that he just kind of like glossed over, but that was the big part. It's like these cards came to your shop, you know, you understand that these probably didn't make it to Panini. So, they're Panini's cards that should go back to them. So I don't know. Then look, man, I mean, he towards the end, he's like, look, I'm a small business owner, yada yada yada. Like, we all have, we all, our heartstrings, for small business owners. And he probably saw, a come up, like he's getting these cars. And then, he's probably going to piece them out and maybe sell them. And that was another part of the interview. He was like, well, they were like, well, what are you going to do? What were you going to do with them if this didn't happen? And he's like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. We'll never know. What do you mean you don't know? You're probably going to piece them out and sell them. Like the guy, he knows what, he knows what people will call him out for, and he tries to avoid it. Like he would have definitely probably, I'm sure he would have sold them, but he's not standing on business. He's not taking any accountability. And I just thought it was like, it was perfect. Interview was perfect because, in my opinion, we got to see who he really is. Someone who's never going to stand on business, someone who's never going to be accountable, someone who's never going to say they're wrong, someone who's going to sit back and say, well, I don't know what I did wrong. I don't know what your fans want to tell me. Like,
So
I don't know. I think there's a ton of subject matter there, Raul. That's why I'm calling it out, because you can't even go on and say, hey, like these look like these cards. I don't. He said they're 100% not stolen, and then he turns around and said, "Well, I didn't know they weren't stolen." Well, if you didn't know, then why are you telling people they're 100% not stolen? You're contradicting yourself. Man,
Yeah,
this guy's a worst.
I think that like for anyone even doing a side hustle, I think this is a good learning lesson that if you're not sure about the origination of these cards and you may think these are stolen cards, don't sell
Mm,
them at all. Don't buy them at all. And I think that's a lesson for all of us because all of us use eBay. I think the vast majority of people
yeah.
watching. So I think it's a good learning lesson for everyone out there.
Mhm.
Now, the thing is that I was telling you offline that there is a guy named
Can
Prison.
before you go into that,
Yeah,
because you said he didn't buy them, and that's a big point people are making to me on the internet. He didn't buy them, like the guy just gave it to him.
yeah,
Regardless, you're taking in stolen property with probably potential intent to sell. It didn't make it back to Panini. So in my opinion, just to clear it up, my opinion, the whole bought slash, it was just you know, get put on his lap situation really doesn't change anything for me. So I just wanted to clear that up, only because you said bought, so that's what a lot of people are saying. But yeah,
yeah,
go into the card prism thing.
yeah. Prism God. So Prism God bought, or he was in possession of stolen property from my memory. And Sports Card Radio did a whole segment on this. I think David Kahn has sent me information on this as well. And they tried to work a deal out. I think it was the Investacard situation too. Investacard and Prism God tried to deal something with Enrico, who's the cards were stolen from, and there was no deal made. And if you are in possession of stolen property for like a long period of time and you know it, you need to return it to the rightful owner. So what I'm seeing with Santiago Sports, yeah, he messed up in my opinion, but he returned it to Panini. Someone like Prism God, from my understanding, I don't think he sent the cards back to the rightful owner. And if he did send it to the rightful owner, it was a long period of time before he did. So what I'm trying to get at is, yeah, I don't like what Santiago did, but he did make it right after the fact. Yeah, he did get called out, but other people out there, they have
That
stolen
email,
property. They have stolen property. They don't return it at all. And that is a felony and based on my understanding of the law. So like, yeah, I get it. You make really good points about Santiago, but there's a lot of people with stolen property that don't return it. So I just wanted to
yeah, I
add
mean,
that.
overall, it's just it's a big problem, right? But from what I understand that email from Panini, that email was no joke. That was a serious email, like potentially like stolen property in the
Yeah.
title, like
Yeah.
that was serious. And for Santiago to be, who he is in the hobby,
Yeah.
he I don't think he's telling people that the idea of it potentially being stolen cross. I mean, he did. He said, "Look, I mean, to me, it just looked like lost." He's like dancing around the word stolen, but his cards for Kuzma to sign. He was the last one to sign him, and he got traded or something, upped and moved. A bunch of stuff got let back, or a bunch of stuff was didn't go with them, and somehow the cards didn't make it back to Panini. That doesn't mean it's not still Panini. So that, and you're going to capitalize it. You go on IG, and what do I do with them, guys? Do I piece them out? But all aside, you're in the moment. Things happen. What he might be 27. He's a young dude. I'm honestly not that older than him. So like I don't treat him any different than somebody who's maybe like 35 or 40, right? But just the whole thing that gets me is the no accountability part, the no like, hey, like this is what I like. He's not even saying owning his 100% stolen comment. Well, you have to see that comment. Like Sports Car Radio, I got it from the Sports Car Radio article that I then put in the IG. He's just saying, well, I didn't know it was stolen. Like, did if you didn't know it was stolen, then why are you telling people 100%? Then I mean, own that statement. And so he didn't own anything. It was funny to me how he went on Sports Card Radio and was like, I don't know how I could have done anything different. What do you mean? Reach out to Panini. Hey, these cards came on my lap. They came from one of Kuzma's reps. Looks like they never made it back to you. That would have been the right thing. So he did the right thing, Raul, but only after Panini sent a scary email and after there was so much, buzz on the internet about the topic. Because one, people like me are already skeptical about him. Not everyone really knows him. Like I think I forget. I barely know him personally. Like I've only spoken with him like maybe once or twice in person, but like I know his shtick. I know he's someone who's always right, never gonna apologize. Anyone who calls him out is always the wrong person. I don't like so I just want people to know that's his character. And I think that's why he thinks Jeter is the most overrated athlete. Should have moved to third base when Rod moved to the team. Most overrated athlete all time, worst defensive player all time. I mean, you can see the quotes on my IG, but Jeter's a man of character. Santiago, to me, I know this has no character. So, I mean, look, he has a small business, but I'm just doing this as hopefully you grow from this. I'm not trying to be, like super hard on the guy. It's just, hopefully this is a growth situation amongst the many growth situations that I've covered, because I know he doesn't stand on business, Raul. Like not with this situation. I thought with the Jeter situation, I mean, that's like two strikes in like the last year for me. So
I want to end on
sports
this.
card radio situation. Yeah. Go ahead.
So you mentioned his age. What is he, like 26, 27? Like
Mm.
I usually don't go after people in their 20s aggressively. I usually go after people aggressively who are in their 30s and 40s who should know better.
Yeah.
And I think like someone like Prism God, I mentioned him because he's older, from my understanding, than what's his name? Santiago. So you said that age doesn't matter. You think that even if they're in their 20s, we should be like going after them the same
Well,
way
listen,
in
I
the
I, I
40s?
said Santiago's what, 27.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like
something like that.
32. I'm only
Yeah,
like 5 years older than Santiago, right?
yeah,
But like, I'm not saying that at all, to be totally honest with you,
yeah.
because look at the Backyard Bros, right?
That's
Like
true.
when I saw the Backyard Bros, they get like more heat than anyone, right? When
Yeah.
I saw the Backyard Bros two nationals go in Atlantic City,
Hmm.
like, bro, when you see them in person, like they're young dudes. Like they were like when I saw him, like I spoke with Nikki at the time, who's no longer with them, but I
Yeah.
remember seeing Grant, like, dude, they're 23, and I think no one goes harder on people than like they do against backyard. So
Yeah. Good
like
point.
that's yeah. So just to counteract your point, and like they're really young, bro. When you see them in person, like they're young dudes. So like definitely give him some leeway. But Santiago, dude, like he's honestly not much younger than me. I think for me, 32, him 27, to call him out, like not that big a deal. But I see the point though, because like there's people of all ages in the hobby. It's a good topic to discuss among so many other topics in the hobby.
Yeah, I mean, I do go after the backyard bros too. So, but like usually I go after older people because I think, hey, look, they should know much better and all that. So, anyways, before I let you go, how can people find you again?
At the Card Dreamer 2345 on Instagram. Look, I came on because, as Raul knows, I mean, this is my second episode on Raul's show doing Santiago. So I felt like I had to chime in. I feel like when he did that video, a lot of people who really don't know his shtick were like, come on, guys, guy messes up once, like, leave him be. Sure. Okay, we get it. He's small business owner. Like, he's younger. He messed up once, but it's about how you handle it. It's one thing to go on the show, but it's one thing, and I keep using the same terms, but it's really like what separates, like, it really what shows if you have true character is if you take accountability. Like, look, I'm saying now I didn't know they were stolen. Probably shouldn't have told everyone they're 100% not stolen if I didn't know. Like, if I didn't know, then there's no business, no reason for you to say 100%. So that, and then also like the cards come in. What was I like? And then like, I don't know, maybe it should have been a thought that you contact Panini, but I know in his head that he knows this was sketch. He said it on his Instagram. He said along the lines of, I don't have the exact quote, but like they fell off the truck. He said he can't release who they came from. the whole background, that's why I said that he glossed over that part. That whole, like, what happened in that transaction? What were the questions asked? Like, you can't tell me, Raul, that in that situation, red flags aren't popping up everywhere, and then he takes these cards in and pretends like there's no red flags. That's how I should have started this show off with. But like
Yeah.
that's what happened. So he knew there were red flags. He's not saying that there was. He didn't want to ask any questions. There's an old Chinese adage: if you don't want to know, don't ask. So basically, he saw red flags. He pretended like there weren't, and then he got mad at everyone who called him out. And he was like, "Well, how was I supposed to know?" And then on top of all of that, he said with 100% surety, surety or whatever, I don't know the word. He said 100% sureness that they weren't fake. And now he's saying, I don't know, like the whole situation rule. This guy, it was everywhere in the call, talking in circles, like just, bro. I mean, Santiago, take a step back. There's so many things wrong about this. You know, you have to own up to some of them, and he didn't on that whole episode. And that's why I'm happy because, I mean, bro, if you saw, I saw you in the comments. He was getting lit up in the comments because everyone could see character. Everyone can see this guy's a phony, that he saw red flags. He's not saying there were red flags. Everyone knows it. So I'm glad that the sports card community is actually smart. Because I'm sure a lot of these people don't know him as well as I do, that don't know he stands on business, like for the Derek Jeter takes and the videos trying to, basically hide the fact that he's the ultimate hater of all time. But people are smart. They see right through this guy. Look, I'm not here. Honestly, I think I'm giving him free marketing, to be totally honest. So, hey, no publicity is bad publicity. His name's getting out there. I think his business will be fine. But, I'm putting on blast his character, and I'm glad that a lot of people realize it. And I'm glad that Sports Card Radio did that episode because it shows exactly who he is. Someone who is never going to say they're wrong and then says the other people are wrong and stupid. That's just him. And you can see all of his comments on like YouTube. It's all of that. Like, they're like, "Oh, you're dumb." Like, "Oh, you don't think I would have, put made that Instagram if I knew they were stolen? You're dumb." No, Santiago, you're the dumb one because red flags went off in your head. You still did it. Now you're saying they're not. You said, you were 100% sure they weren't. Like, while having red flags, you are a clown. And that's all. And Ralph, thanks for having me on the show, man. Like, like this is one of my favorite. You and Sports Car Radio are one of my favorite. Thank you for giving me the platform. This is twice now, like just to air this out. And I know a bunch of people, feel the same way. So, they could resonate with it.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks for coming on again and sharing your point of view.
And I would have loved to talk other topics too, like the
Oh,
Tom Brady.
yeah,
Like, I
yeah,
would have loved to
yeah,
so many
yeah.
topics.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you want to talk, you quickly talk about it now, what are your thoughts on the Brady Photoshop situation? I know you messaged me
Yeah.
about that.
Well, dude, thank you for doing what you do, man. Like you're on every topic, exposing it, diving into it. I mean, dude, when one of my buddies pulled out of 75 yellow lava Tom Brady in a break.
Yeah.
Cool card, immediately traded because you know how the value of these things. Like you could probably get the same one next year for like $700-800,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, maybe, yeah. So when I first saw it, I want to say like I thought like there was some maybe like all terrain, but like the fact that this is so altered really diminishes the value for me. Like I know we got drafted by the Expos, but dude, I was young at the time. Like, I didn't know if that was like, if he ever practiced with them and wore that shirt. But what happened was they took another card of like someone in an Expos uniform and basically put his head over it. And now they're calling us dumb for not understanding it was like 110% Photoshop. But yeah, it diminishes the value. And I think it's weird that people are calling you out because I think that's a fair thing. And one example that people are bringing up is the Ken Griffey Jr. Upper Deck rookie card of like just his face. Well, then they're like, "Oh, this one's Photoshop too." But if you look at it, Ro, it's literally the same picture, but like they just popped out some of the colors to make it look good. But yeah, well, I mean, thanks for like it's a topic in the hobby because like we spent a lot of money on cards. Like I thought it was a cool card, but like I didn't know that it was basically just a total rip off of another card with just his face in there. Like I don't know, it was a long time ago when Brady was drafted. So what do you think, man? I mean, I've seen some of your stuff, but because a lot of people have been coming at you, man.
Yeah, my own thought process is it was marketed like crazy. And this was Tom Brady. Okay, we all know there's some level of Photoshop in this hobby with the touch up of cards. Okay, everyone can assume that. And to a certain extent, we're like, okay, that's fine. But when it comes to the GOAT of GOATs, and Tom Brady, I believe, is an investor in Fanatics, it just seems crazy that they hyped this to the moon. They photoshopped it and they didn't disclose. They didn't explicitly disclose that, hey, look, we're gonna put Tom Brady's face on Darren Fletcher's body. If they had said something like that, at least they were being honest. But that's not good from a PR point of view. Now they get busted, and now we see all the bootlickers coming out and saying that like I'm the dumb one. I'm like, wait, wait, wait. This is marketed like crazy. And yeah, we know there's Photoshop in this hobby, but that's not marketed. I mean, one of the persons, I don't know if you heard of Alex Giamo.
No, I
No.
don't think so. What
Well,
do you say? Or
well,
she?
she was promoting the card porn auction, I think last year or over a year ago. And card porn was
Oh,
dealing
she
with
was the
Photoshop.
person that you
Yeah, I
put on
referenced in the
IG, right?
story. Yeah. And
Okay,
then
okay, yeah,
she's
yeah,
the
then yeah.
one that said, hey, look, Photoshop is good for the hobby. So over a year ago, she was promoting the card porn auction from my memory. And then two, she's saying Photoshop is what keeps the hobby alive. And the ironic part is card porn basically defrauded a bunch of people using Photoshop. So I just find that hilarious and ironic.
Yeah, yeah. You can't really make it up. It's yeah, now they're like their backs are against the wall. Like now people are calling them out and they're like, well, you should have known. I mean, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it diminishes the value of the card for me. Like, I don't know if I want to buy that card next year now. Like the allure is kind of lost a little. It's a shame. It was so Photoshop, but I mean, what do you think? Just to play devil's advocate, Raul, what do
Yeah.
you think they could have just done different? Because obviously they don't want to say like, here's Tom Brady's card. Like this is the biggest hype part of the hobby to drive the Bowman product, and obviously like they don't want to like say, oh, this is 110% Photoshop, but like that probably it was so Photoshopped, and I don't know. I guess I'm too
I mean,
young to realize that like he never really put on an Expo shirt, even though he was drafted. Like I didn't even know what to think. I mean, this is all
yeah.
happened in what 2005. I don't know.
Yeah, wait, wait, wait. When the picture of Darren Fletcher,
No,
you're saying?
no, when he got drafted to the or when he got drafted by the Expos.
Like, I
You
think
know,
he was drafted by the Expos right around his college days, I believe. I have to look at the
yeah,
exact dates. What was that, 96, 97? I don't remember, to be
no,
honest. But
that early, yeah. Sheesh.
yeah, but what could they have done? I'm the person that likes disclosure, and they didn't really disclose what they did. If they had done that, I'm like, okay, fine. But then it was just a money-making grift. I don't care if
Yeah, it
people
really
make
was.
money, just be honest. That's the person I am.
Yeah,
Like
I think
like
that's what
you,
gets
you know
people
how
too.
you know how you don't like how Santiago you felt wasn't honest. Like that's how I felt with what Fanatics did.
Yeah.
Like this is the same thing.
Yeah, honestly, when you first started telling the story, I was actually making that same correlation in my head. Like Fanatics telling everyone like they're dumb, they should have known. Like while they're being dishonest, like literally Santiago. And glad we brought him back in because honestly, we don't have to cover it, but we didn't cover Seablez because that was an interesting part of the episode too. He's like, oh yeah, things are like smoothed over, and then when you hear about it, it doesn't really sound like it. And honestly, he used some really choice words that like I don't know. It was a very
Yeah, I
awkward
wouldn't
part of the
use it if
interview.
I'm sponsored by or if I work with Fanatics, I would not say the things. I would
Yeah,
not act the way
it
that
was a
I do on my
horrible look.
channel or my IG if I was like part of the network. There's a way to act,
Horrible.
where not to act.
Exactly. Horrible look. And then he thought at one point he thought he was in his bag and he started calling out the Cody guy who was donating. He was like, "Look at this broke Cody guy, who paying you. That was probably his last $5." And I'm thinking because I've seen sports card radio episodes before and I see people pay. And I'm thinking like Santiago is so off because if you have money to give towards YouTube, like videos like that, just on the whim, as opposed to maybe like going to eBay and buying cards, like, bro, you definitely have it. You definitely have money like You're not broke. So he's wrong about everything. Like he's wrong about that too. He should apologize to that Cody guy, but he won't because Santiago is never wrong. I don't know where we should leave this, Raul. Like, should we have like a one-on-one basketball game, Santiago versus me? Like, I don't know. I think that might be the
Uh,
most reasonable next step.
I think maybe you should get him to come on your channel.
Yeah,
You should
we
do
have to do it.
that. You should just be like, how you're venting here. Maybe like, hey, tell him what's wrong, and then maybe you say, here's what I'm gonna do differently, and maybe, hopefully, he changed for the better. I believe in accountability, and if you call it out, maybe some people will change. Usually, it doesn't happen, but that's what
Mhm.
I do on my
Yeah, I
channel.
mean, that's what led me to you in the first place. We were actually invited me on his IG live, and that when we were like DMing in October, then he was like, "No," because I don't know. He knew I was gonna pummel him, and then so then that led me to you. And honestly, when Sports Card Radio said they were dropped that story that said they were interviewing Santiago, couldn't not reach out and just say like, "Hey, tap me in if you need to." I know it was like, I know it was like this is the Santiago Sports Car Radio. I just couldn't not say it from someone in the position I was in. But like it was, I almost didn't want it either because like, look, let the interview be the interview, and then us as the hobby can judge it. And it was perfect just like that because I got so much material, we got so much words, there was so much to critique that look that we have a whole nother 20-minute episode of just critiques. But yeah, you can catch me at the Card Dreamer 2345. I'm on the top comment for the Sports Card Radio Santiago YouTube interview. I have the point of like, look, it was boss like you could read the point. I could pull it up. But some people are like, oh, he didn't buy it. It's like it doesn't matter if he bought it or not. Um, and Yeah, and then other people are DMing me. People DM me left and right, like, "Oh, I hate, like that guy's the worst. Hate that guy." And that's a light way of saying it. So I'm getting DMs on Instagram, like, because he rubs people the wrong way. It's bad character, and that's why I'm here. Maybe it improves. Hopefully, it improves. Raul. We're nice people. We want to improve. I'm not going to get my hopes up because it's just he just stumbles over himself left and right. But yeah, thanks for having me on, man. I hope to be on again. Either talk about something more card related, but
Yeah,
don't
for
mind
sure.
putting Santiago on blast if he does something again.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on again.
Appreciate you, Rel. Take care.
Yep.